Welcome to AI ConvoCast, where we bring you the latest in AI and tech innovation. Quick housekeeping. Check out the affiliate links in our description. Using them supports the show, and please don't forget to rate, review, and share if you like what you hear. Let's jump right in. Today, we will be covering Anthropic's new legal plugin, shaking up the legal tech industry, NVIDIA and OpenAI addressing rumors about their partnership, a Claude Opus 4.5 outage that left developers scrambling, and Anthropic's deployment of Claude agents into major science labs. Anthropic made waves over the weekend with the release of a Claude Cowork plugin specifically designed for legal clerical work. This new tool rolled out on Sunday morning and quickly grabbed attention across both the tech and legal industries. The plugin handles document review, compliance tracking, and legal research, essentially taking on the kind of routine tasks that have traditionally kept paralegals and junior associates busy for hours on end. Now, the important distinction here is that Anthropic is not going after the work that attorneys do. This is about the middle layer of legal operations, the paperwork heavy lifting that clogs up law firms and corporate legal departments. One industry reporter summed it up nicely, saying, "This is about automating the boring middle of legal work." That framing matters because it positions the tool as a productivity booster, rather than a replacement for legal professionals who handle strategy and client relationships. The market reaction was swift and pretty dramatic. Publicly traded legal tech companies saw their stock prices drop as investors interpreted this move as a direct substitution risk. The thinking goes that if Claude can handle document review and compliance tracking at scale, what happens to the companies that have built their entire business around those same services? Whether that fear is overblown or justified remains to be seen, but it is clear that the legal industry is paying very close attention to how AI agents are evolving. Moving to the hardware side of the AI ecosystem, NVIDIA and OpenAI both came out publicly this week to downplay reports of tension between the two companies. There had been some chatter about delayed NVIDIA investment in OpenAI and speculation that OpenAI was distancing itself from NVIDIA by diversifying its chip suppliers. On Monday afternoon, executives from both companies reaffirmed their partnership and made clear that the relationship remains strong. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman put it bluntly, saying, "NVIDIA builds the best AI chips, period. That is about as direct an endorsement as you can get." Now, OpenAI did acknowledge that they are using chips from AMD, Broadcom, and Cerebras alongside NVIDIA hardware. But the company framed this as a matter of supply chain resilience rather than any kind of breakup with NVIDIA. When you are running infrastructure at the scale OpenAI operates, having multiple suppliers just makes practical sense. It does not mean you are walking away from your primary partner. For NVIDIA, this public statement is reassuring for investors who might have been worried about losing such a prominent customer. And for the broader AI community, it confirms that NVIDIA GPUs remain the backbone of both training and inference for the models we all use every day. Monday afternoon also brought some frustration for developers relying on Anthropic's tools. Claude Opus 4.5 experienced outages lasting roughly 2 hours, with users reporting elevated error rates and 500 responses starting around 4 in the afternoon Eastern Time. The issues primarily hit Claude Code users who found themselves unable to work during the disruption. The web version of Claude stayed partially functional, but the experience was degraded across the board. This kind of outage is a reminder of just how deeply integrated these AI tools have become in daily workflows. One user on the Claude AI subreddit captured the sentiment perfectly, writing, "I literally cannot code anymore without Claude." That might sound dramatic, but for developers who have built their entire workflow around agentic coding assistance, even a 30-minute interruption can throw off an entire afternoon. Anthropic acknowledged the issues and worked to restore service by around 6 in the evening. These scaling pains are almost inevitable as adoption of tools like Claude Code accelerates. More users means more demand on infrastructure, and occasionally that demand exceeds capacity. The good news is that these incidents tend to push companies to build more robust systems over time. Wrapping up with some exciting news from the research world, Anthropic announced partnerships with 2 major scientific institutions, the Allen Institute and the Howard Hughes Medical Institute. Claude agents are now being deployed directly into frontline science labs to assist with data analysis, annotation, and coordination across research teams. The emphasis here is on speeding up the everyday bottlenecks that slow down scientific work. This is not about creating some flashy breakthrough model that makes headlines. Jonah Kuhl from Anthropic explained the approach, saying this is not AlphaFold, it is the rest of the scientific process. That distinction is important because so much of research involves tedious but essential tasks like cleaning data, annotating images, and keeping distributed teams on the same page. Computational biologists at these institutions are accessing Claude through Claude Code, integrating it into their existing workflows rather than treating it as some separate magical tool. The focus on team workflows rather than individual genius moments reflects a maturing understanding of how AI can actually help in complex professional environments. Science moves faster when researchers spend less time on administrative friction and more time on the questions that matter. Thank you for listening to AI Convo Cast. Please don't forget to rate, review, and share if you like what you hear. Thanks, and hope to see you again next time.